All right, the field's repacked, restacked, ready to go this time out of turn number 4. Brian White battling Butch Green. White with a whale of a jump. Slight contact between the green machine and White. It's all colors out front as White and Green 1 and 2. Mike Austin there in third. Problems on the Nick Nye machine as he drifts up out of turn number 2. He's able to get that mount underneath him. And here we go. Leader of lap number 1 going to be Brian White. Second, battling Butch Green. Third, Mike Austin. Fourth, Nick Nye and Rob Snow there in the 5th position. Freight train racing down the backstretch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Butch Green going to try to reel in the White machine. They head down into 1 and 2. It's Brian White with a 3-car length advantage over battling Butch Green. Mike Austin there in second. He's going to try to reel in Butch Green in the 56D. Green really got that thing cranking on the low side of the speedway. Doesn't appear to be getting the bite that he wants to in that 56D as you see him kind of dogtailing down the straightaways. 3 laps in, a handful of laps remaining. Excuse me, the big X in the air this time. 4 down, 4 to go for Brian White. Butch Green going to cast a lasso out there and try to reel in the 56 machine. I don't think that's going to happen. Brian White on rails here in the early goings at the Thunder Mountain Raceway Park. He's got a 6-car length advantage over battling Butch Green. That's just an estimate, of course. Out of turn number 2 down the backstretch, it's Brian White in the 56, Butch Green second, Mike Austin in third, Nick Nye fourth, and Rob Snow there at the back of the pack. The white flag is out. 7 down, 1 to go. Rob Snow getting crossed up down the backstretch. He's nearly going around in turn number 3, able to hang on to it. Into 3 out of 4, the heat win going to go to flying Brian White. Butch Green second, Mike Austin third, and Nick Nye in fourth. Rounding out the field to be Rob Snow. That's going to add to Brian White's lead. He's currently second in points, and he has just a 3-point advantage heading into tonight. Correction, that's going to be Alan Barker driving the green 6NN. Alan Barker, he's a modified hot shoe at the Utica Rome Speedway, so he's doing some Sportsman modified duties here tonight. He's going to sit on the pole, going away on his outside, the 5-time track champion here at Thunder Mountain Raceway Park, Fast Eddie White in the number 20. Going away in the 3rd starting spot, he is the 2012 600cc Micro Sprint champion, Colton Wilson in the 26. And going away on his outside, that's crate power underneath the hood of the number 3 machine, Fran Hilton. Going away in the 5th starting spot, driving the number 63, it's Byron Worthing. And going away on his outside, crate power underneath the hood of that purple and pink machine, that's going to be Mike Ward. Mike Ward in the 45. Well, all right, field repacked, restacked, ready to go this time out of turn number 4. It's Barker and Wilson side by side. They're up and running down the front stretch. Side by side into turn number 1. Barker on the low side, Wilson on the high side. In these few nights that Wilson's been running, you can see him getting more and more comfortable in that 26 machine. Freewheeling off the corner, it's Barker. Leader of lap number 1, Wilson there in the 2nd spot. He kicks her sideways. Fran Hilton coming on the low side of the speedway as Wilson bobbles out of 2. Hilton stealing away that runner-up position. So the crate power working pretty good here in the early goings. Alan Barker increasing his lead as they head down into turn number 1. Hilton in 2nd, Wilson 3rd, and Byron Worthing up in the 4th spot. Handling woes on the 45 machine of Ward. You see extremely tight race car there in the Ward machine. The battle now for the 2 spot between Fran Hilton and Colton Wilson. Wilson hitting a little rut there, getting crossed up, no harm, no foul as he's able to continue. He's going to try to work the low groove. Oh, Hilton crossed up there out of 2. Gets in that soupy stuff and comes around. He's facing the wrong way down a one-way street there out of turn number 2. Caution flag is going to wave. A brisk pace being set down into turn 4. Barker on the hammer. Here comes Colton Wilson trying a high-low switch. 6 down, 2 to go. Brandon Clapperton showing him 2 to go this time. Alan Barker, Colton Wilson, Byron Worthing, and Brandon Hilton, 1, 2, 3, and 4. White flag is a waving, the clean white sheet being laundered by Brandon Clapperton there as they come out of turn number 2. Here comes Worthing on the low side of the speedway. Drag racing down the backstretch, side by side into turn 3. Wilson trying to hold him off. He's got a head of steam at the stand. He catches him by a bumper. Heat win going to go to Alan Barker. Second will be Colton Wilson. Third, Byron Worthing. And Fran Hilton there in fourth. Rounding out the field will be Mike Ward. Here we go, down into turn number 4. It's Nye and White side by side. He's on the gas, and we're off and running. Down the front stretch. Nye on the inside, White on the outside. White gonna try to find something on the low growth. Here comes Butch Green on the low side, 50-16. Green, last night's feature winner at the Skyline Raceway, trying to work his way to the front and garner another win. Slight contact with Eddie White and Byron Worthing. No harm, no foul as these guys are able to continue. Down out of turn number 2. It's now Colton Wilson stealing away the spot from Nick Nye. Nick Nye's got some work to do if he wants to secure that runner-up finish in the final point standing. He's falling backwards right now.
You got debris over 1, Brandon. Debris 1 and 2, Brandon.
The roll bar there in turn number 2. Caution flag is going to come out. We got debris in 3 as well. Here we go. We're ready to go this time out of turn number 4. 3 laps in, 27 laps remain. White's on the gun, and we're off and running. White with a whale of a start, and that allows Colton Wilson to jump up to the second position. Oh, contact there in turn number 1. Nick Nye gathers the 56D of Butch Green. Caught the 20 of Eddie White. There was contact with Byron Worthing, so melee in turn number 1. Looked like Green heading there into turn number 1, got collected, and in turn gathered up the 6NN machine of Nick Nye and the 20 of Eddie White. Going Green out of turn number 4. White's on the gas. He's off and running yet again. A high-low swift by Byron Worthing. Nice move as he's going to try to steal away the third spot. Here comes Mike Austin on the low side. Wilson caught up in the loose stuff and gives way to Austin, Worthing, and Barker. Oh, contact there in turn 4. Gathers the 20 of Eddie White. White stays on the gas, gets her righted around. No major contact. White spun to avoid contact with the 26 of Colton Wilson. So now that our points drama has been brought to a completion, guys just trying to garner the feature win. Brian White on the gas, and they're running down the front stretch. It's White and Austin side by side as they head down into turn number 1. A nice run by Austin, but he gets caught up in the loose stuff. Contact with the outside. Ready to go this time out of turn number 4. White's on the gas, and they're off and running. Oh, contact out of turn number 4. Gathers the 56D of Butch Green. He's able to continue, and he's back on the gas. Here comes Colton Wilson on the low side of Rob Snow, stealing away the 6th position. Eddie White on the charge in the number 20. Heck of a move by the 6N of Barker as he is up to the 2nd spot. Butch Green on the high side works around the 11J of Rob Snow. The 45 of Hillary Ward crossed up there in 1 and 2. No harm, no foul. Eddie White now up to 3rd. White is the man on the move. He was involved in 2 early race cautions. Rob Snow expiring inside in the 11J. Out front, it's still Brian White. Alan Barker second. Third is going to be Eddie White. Butch Green now steals away a spot from Colton. Barker gets wide out of turn number 2. Here comes fast Eddie White on the low side. All the fans getting their admission worth as Eddie White working his way back to the front. He's going to throw a line out there and try to reel in his son in that 56 machine. Brian White has opened it up to a full straightaway advantage over the second position. But anything can happen here in the Sportsman modified ranks. Oh, Barker way up in the loose stuff allows Worthing to reel him in just a touch more. Slight contact between Butch Green and Fran Hilton. No harm, no foul. Track conditions playing a part. Brian White's going to encounter lap traffic in the form of Hillary Ward. He's going to have to move it to the top side. Ward drifts up. White is able to avoid her. And that puts nothing in front of him as we are 15 laps in with 15 to go in this feature event. The Big X in the air. Butch Green stealing away the spot from Fran Hilton. Eddie White crossed up in the wheel there out of 2. He's going to tuck low underneath Hillary Ward. And he securely puts a lap on Ward as well. Here comes Alan Barker back on the low side. Barker has fought his way back. The race now going to be for the 4th spot between Butch Green and Byron Worthing. Green's going to tuck low underneath Ward. No harm, no foul. Ward out of the way there as Fran Hilton and Colton Wilson also going to put a lap on Ward in the 45 as well. There goes Green on the low side. It's Worthing and Green fighting for that spot. Green securely now in the 4th position. "19 laps in, 11 laps remain for Flying Brian White in the number 56 machine. Brian White going to encounter lap traffic in the form of Hillary Ward yet again. Eddie White still sitting in second, Barker in third. I know these guys are behind White here, hoping for a caution as he has been on a rail all feature long. Hillary Ward in front of Brian White, drifts up, Colton Wilson on the low side. Brian White narrowly avoiding contact with Wilson as Wilson goes up in smoke. There, and we're off and running. As I stated, here comes Barker on the low side looking away. A good run by Barker as they motor down into turn number 1. Here comes Eddie White back on the high side, nothing doing. Here comes Butch Green. White up in the loose stuff, trying to fight his way back. Oh, contact between White and Green. White narrowly avoids that outside retaining wall. A bad break for Eddie White in the number 20 machine. Rob Snow crossed up in turn number 1. Here comes Alan Barker in the number 6N machine. That's the fight for the lead. 23 laps in, 7 laps remain. They're motoring out of turn number 2. You can see ill handling issues on the Snow machine. Barker fighting tooth and nail for that lead spot. He's got to run out of turn number 2. He's going to show White a tire. They're side by side into 3. Here comes Barker out of 4. White with too much motor as they hit the stand. 5 laps remain in this 30-lap event. Barker up in the loose stuff, gives ground to White there in the lead. This could get interesting as Snow and Ward sit in front of these leaders. They're going to be lap traffic in these remaining laps. Ward crossed up in the wheel. Snow up in the loose stuff. Off the corner, Rob Snow in front of your leader, Brian White. Brandon Clapperton telling him to move high. He obliges and makes contact with the outside retaining wall. He does continue. 2 laps to go for Brian White. Brian White stuck behind the lap car of Hillary Ward. Here we go on turn number 2. Ward turns down. allowing White to jump out to a 3-car length advantage over Barker. The clean white sheet being low. Oh, Worthing around on the backstretch. That's going to bring out the yellow flag. That's going to bring us to a green-white checkered finish. So White's on the gun. We're off and running. And here we go. Off of turn number 4. Butch Green with a run on the low side. He works underneath Eddie White. That's the battle for the 4th position. Fran Hilton there in 3rd. Checkered flag is waving for Brian White picking up the win. 2nd is going to go to Alan Russ. 3rd, Fran Hilton. 4th will be Butch Green. 5th will be Eddie White. Byron Worthing 6th. And Hillary Ward rounding out the field. So the feature win going to Flying Brian White in the Hunt's Auto Service number 56 machine. Brian.
We had to go around the outside, and I had much pressure out there, so I figured keep it tight, might lose a little speed, but we are going to go under.
Well, with the win, you securely finished 2nd in the point standing, so congratulations. Yeah! Going to continue the Open Sportsman next season?
I believe so. I don't know where we're going to go. Yeah, we're going to be Open Sportsman, I imagine. Trying to knock off the old man, and we were close, and we're getting closer, so congratulate my dad on a great year and winning the championship for 5th year in a row. Well, maybe next year we'll get it.
What do you want to thank for this stout season for yourself?
Brian and Nancy Hunt gave me this ride, and it's been like a dream come true. I couldn't do this with this kind of race car on my own. And, it's great. I love it. One straight farms out. Let's see the racing. It's the power of this thing. He does a great job. He's right there with us all the time, and it's great. I got my crew to thank: John, Tiffany, Doug, Brian, Maddie, everybody, my girlfriend, Candy, for letting me do this every night. All the kids, everything. So this is good.
Your 5th feature win of the year and a solid 2nd in the point standings. Ladies and gentlemen, Flying Brian White.